All right, guys, I wanted to jump on and make a quick video to go through some of the questions from this clue sheet that we did work out in class because a lot of you seem to be pretty confused. So I've added all of this into Canvas so you can look at it, you can practice it, and I copied the first 3 questions over here. So, oops, sorry guys. Let's just jump in onto number 1 here. So we did talk about this in class, but I know some of you were absent last week, so I just wanted to come on and go through this kind of a little bit more slowly and explain kind of how we do this. So for the first function, we've got j of x equals 2x squared minus 4x plus 6, and they're asking me to find j of 3. So what that means is anywhere there's x's, I'll plug in a 3. And so I'm going to have 2, and then there's 3 squared minus 4 times 3 plus 6. And as I substitute these values in, I'm using parentheses to ensure that I don't make a careless sign error. So 3 squared is 9, 4 times 3 is 12, 2 times 9 is 18. So at the end, 18 take away 12, that's going to give me 6 plus 6, that's going to give me 12. So 12 is going to be my answer for j of 3, and now I've got to simplify g of x. So for g of x, we have a different function, 3x squared plus 2x plus 9. So if I do g of negative 5, again, substituting in negative 5 where we see these x's in the original function. So 3 times negative 5 squared plus 2 times negative 5 plus 9. And once you plug your values in, we are just simplifying using our order of operations. So I'm going to go ahead and hit up negative 5 squared, that's 25. 2 times negative 5 is negative 10. 3 times 25 is 75. So 75 take away 10 is 65. 65 and 9 is going to be 74. So the question on number 1 said I guess it says here, the first letter of the suspect's name matches the function with the greatest value. So as we take a look, out of a 12 and a 74, 74 is obviously the greatest value. So that means that the first name starts with a G for G of X. Okay, so at this point, you could go to your clue sheets, which I've uploaded, your suspect cards, and those are in Canvas, and you can cross off any name that doesn't start with a G. That will not be our suspect. All right, let's take a look at number 2. So it says, write a function to represent inches as a function of feet. And this is the one that we talked about together in class. F of x equals 12x because there are 12 inches in every foot. So I'm putting 12x for the function. It says the height of the suspect will be f of 6 minus 8. So now I have my work cut out for me. I've got to figure out what f of 6 is, and then I have to subtract 8. So first, I'm just going to do f of 6. Well, my function was f of x equals 12x, just like we saw in number 1. Wherever you see that x, you're going to replace it with a 6. So it's going to be 12 times 6, which is 72. So it's 72 minus 8, which is 64 inches. Now, problem is, on those suspect cards, everybody's height is something like 5 feet, 2 inches, 6 feet, 1 inch. So at this moment, we need to convert this to feet. And I cautioned a group to not use their calculator because the calculator is going to say 5.333 feet. None of the suspect cards say 5.333 feet. So I would suggest to go old school. 12 can go into 64 5 times without going over. 5 times 12 is 60. Bring down that 4. That's my remainder. That's how many inches are left over. So it's 5 feet and 4 inches. So that is my suspect's height. At this moment, you can cross off any of the suspects who do not have a height of 5 feet 4 inches. Take a look at number 3, last one I asked you to do in class. I already gave you the answer on the last one, that this was 88. We're going to learn how to do this on Friday, or I'm sorry, block day. So let's start with the first one. We've got to first do f of 1 and then g of 2. So I'm going to kind of do my work down here so I have a little bit of room. F of x is 2x squared minus 10. So I've got to find f of 1. 2 times 1 squared minus 10. 1 squared is 1. 2 times 1 is 2. 2 minus 10 is negative 8. So it's going to be negative 8 plus, now I've got to do g of 2. So coming back over here, g of 2. G of x is negative x squared plus 16. We talked about this in class. When I go to substitute a 2 in, I have to be very cautious that that negative is not getting raised to the power. It's almost like looking at this function and thinking of it like negative 1 times x squared. If you want to write that in, you can. 2 is the only thing being raised to that power. So it's going to be a negative 4 plus 16. That's going to equal 12. So negative 8 plus 12 is going to give me positive 4. That's the first answer. Now I've got to do f of 12 minus f of 6. So f of 12, I'm using the same f of x function, just replacing these x's with 12. So it's going to be 2 times 12 squared minus 10. 12 squared is 144. 2 times 144 is 288. 288 take away 10 is 278. So let me plug that in up here. That's 278 minus, now I need to do g of 6. Okay, so let me kind of make a little line down here. So g of 6, what I'm doing is I'm going into g of x, and where I see those x's, I'll put a 6 in now. So it's negative 6 squared plus 16. The negative sign comes down. Remember, that's like saying negative 1 times 6 squared. So it'll be negative 36 plus 6, which is equal to negative 20. So let's put that up here. So it's 278 minus negative 20. This is where a lot of you made a mistake in class today. Minus and negative, when you have that, they both turn into plus. So it's 278 plus 20 to get you 298. Now this question says the suspect's weight is the average of the following values: 4, 298, and 88. So I now need to take the average of those three. We had this on our Unit 2 test, finding the average. We're going to add up the three answers, 4 plus 298 plus 88, and divide by 3. You can plug that into your calculator. It comes out to be 130. That's the suspect's weight. So you could go through your suspect cards and you can cross off any suspect that does not weigh 130 pounds. Okay, I hope this helps. Tomorrow we can go through number 4, and you can always email me if you have any questions.